and to show that, what we do on this campus in so many ways, and really on every university campus, we create opportunities for students and faculty and staff and others that engage with us. We create value.
Well, President Oldham, welcome to Cookeville. You've been here for a while now, and for our folks who'll be watching even all across the state, how's the inaugural going? How is it?
That's great. It's wonderful. I was officially invested this last week, but as you know, I'm working on 4 months now, so we're settled in pretty well. The transition's been really smooth. Everybody's great here. We're just happy to be here.
Now, had you spent a lot of time in this Middle Tennessee area? You've kind of been around in the whole Tennessee area. So.
Well, not a lot in Middle Tennessee, I guess. I grew up in West Tennessee and then spent the last 5 years in Chattanooga. And I have family members in the Knoxville area, so but I've been in and around Tennessee most all my life, and so it's a pretty natural fit for me.
So tell us about you. Like, how did you get here? How did you get to this position of being a university president? Tennessee Tech is a great university, and what was your path?
Well, how far back do you want to go?
Well, how far back do you want to go?
Well, it's, I don't think anybody sets out to be a university president. I think the old adage about life is what happens to you when you're making other plans. That's generally more true than we want to admit. But I guess, working for a university on a university campus is sort of in my blood. My dad was a university administrator. He was vice president at my undergraduate alma mater, Freed Hardeman, over in West Tennessee. And so, I grew up in a house that, we talked about campus life and university issues on a regular basis. I was a chemistry major. I did graduate work. I did a PhD in chemistry and actually played around with an industrial career. I actually did a postdoc for a year for what is now GlaxoSmithKline Pharmaceuticals in Research Triangle Park, thinking about an industrial path. I enjoyed that. It was a great environment. It was very challenging, but I found that I just missed the life on a university campus. And so I was fortunate enough to get a tenure track assistant professor position at Mississippi State, and started there as a chemistry professor that many years ago, back in the mid-'80s, and from there it was just sort of the administrative positions just sort of kept finding me. I started out, I was asked to be the graduate coordinator for the Department of Chemistry, and then later was asked to serve as interim department head while we were in transition, and then they asked me to take it on full time, and it's just that's sort of the way my career has been. I think the fact that I was not predisposed against administrative positions, they kept, and I had a propensity to do it okay, that they kept looking me up for it. So, but it's been good. It's been great. I've had tremendous opportunities to work with a lot of great faculty and senior administrators over the years. Had some wonderful mentors that I learned from. I tried to go to school with everybody I worked with or for over the years, and it's not always what they did right. Sometimes it was what they did wrong, and learning from those mistakes. But this is an inexact science, but it's a great opportunity, and we love it.
Well, tell me about, because you were provost
I
at
was.
University of Tennessee in Chattanooga. And Chattanooga, what a great community that is.
It is a great community, absolutely.
What was that experience like, and how did you feel like that maybe prepared you for the next step?
Well, you know, it gave me really what I was looking for at the time, absolutely. I was really looking, I'd reached a point in my career, and I guess everybody gets to this point maybe, when I enjoyed what I was doing, and it was a great job. I've always had great jobs. I've had great opportunities, so that's not been an issue. But I felt like I wanted to find something that I really made a difference, particularly in the lives of students. And the provost position at UTC really gave me that opportunity in a major way, and I'm very thankful for that. I was looking for a campus that, you know, my skill set and my talents and my interests fit with where their needs were at the time, and that was a good fit. I was given the opportunity to play a large role in shaping the future of that campus, and the potential there is enormous. And I have every confidence that others will pick that up and go even further with it. So that's great. But actually, also being in that Chattanooga community was very instructive for me. The experience on campus was very valuable, but to be a part, even albeit at the tail end maybe, of the renaissance of such a dynamic community as Chattanooga, and to see what can happen when community leaders and people in general come together to make something positive happen within a community. Chattanooga is a great story. It's been well documented by a lot of individuals. But to just share a little bit of that experience and to see what can happen when people come together in a positive way, it just shows you what can happen other places as well. So it was a great experience.
So as a chemist, I would be really interested when you see that organically within a community, when you combine all the different aspects within a community, and when you come here to Middle Tennessee, how you see that as being, how does that work organically? How does that make a difference when you combine all of these things?
Well, you know, when you use the word organically, it almost, to me, it kind of implies that it happens spontaneously. But there's nothing about that happens spontaneously. I mean, I think where it does happen within those communities, when it happens well and it's done right, it almost appears easy. But the truth is, it takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of effort. It's a very thoughtful process. That was clearly the case in Chattanooga. It required a lot of people to put in a lot of time and energy, and at times take a lot of criticism publicly in order to move those things along. You know, in retrospect, in hindsight, it always appears to be a lot easier than it was. But so you know, the lesson I take from it is that anything worthwhile is typically a little difficult to do, and so don't be afraid of that challenge. You know, don't be hesitant to take a risk where it's warranted, and be prepared to take some criticism along the way, because you know most of the time that does happen. You know, there's I guess there is somewhat of a chemistry about it, though. You know, it's getting the right people together with the right resources and energy, and sometimes external opportunities to make it all work. You know, sometimes it's just kind of magical the way it all comes together. But usually it starts with the energy and the vision of no more than a handful of people, and that was certainly the case in Chattanooga.
You see that happening here?
I think so. In fact, I think you see significant signs of it already. I think the the energy around bringing the TSSAA high school football championships to Cookeville and the Tech campus is a good example of a very good idea that was probably seemed like a significant challenge at the time to be able to pull off, but the right people decided to make the effort, and we're all benefiting from that now. I think, once you have that kind of experience and can see that kind of result, it just gives you that much more momentum and energy to tackle the next opportunity. And so I think the opportunities here are significant. There's a lot of them, and a lot of our task is trying to correctly determine which way to go with those.
Speaking of sports and tackling, you have a great sense of humor.
Well,
I would
thanks.
assume you have a great sense of humor because you allowed the university
Some people
to,
say quirky.
Well,
but,
I like it. You really allowed to be introduced in a way to the community, to the university community, that in a way that was really fun and just showed a light side to what seems like sort of a very auspicious office, you know. And that people can find that on YouTube. We're showing a little bit of it.
Sure.
Welcome to Tech, Mr. President.
How was that experience?
Oh, it was tremendous. I had a blast doing it, and you're probably right. It probably wasn't terribly presidential of me to do that, but the only way I know to be is to be myself, and that is me. That's part of my personality. I think as individuals, I know it's true for me. I always do my best work when I'm having a good time, when I'm having fun, and I think to be able to look at the lighter side of things helps us to be more creative and to do our best work. And so I'm happy to do that. I think it's a good way to connect with students and alumni and others, and to show that what we do on this campus in so many ways, and really on every university campus, we create opportunities for students and faculty and staff and others that engage with us. We create value, and that's in varied forms. It's not just in the classroom. It's in the laboratories. It's in extended classrooms around the state. It's on the football field. It's on other sporting events. It's in the band halls and everywhere else. The expertise and the experiences that students gather here while they're here is invaluable throughout their lifetime, and we need to celebrate that.
Right. What are other parts about you that folks might not know or would like to know? Just kind of describe you. And it's great to you have a young family. It's great to see a young family.
Family is very important to me, obviously. I've been blessed with a lovely wife, now First Lady of Tennessee Tech, Carrie, who makes all this worthwhile and very enjoyable. We have 4 children. From the oldest is 25 and married in graduate school, and the youngest is 8 in the 3rd grade. So I've got all the bases covered with children. The oldest 3 are boys, and the youngest is a girl, and they're all great. They're all wonderful. I couldn't be prouder of kids whatsoever. So I'm very blessed in that regard. But they keep me busy, and there's always something interesting and challenging to take care of. But it's a great life.
People will see you running. You're a runner, right? What else? What other
Well,
things?
I'm not sure if I would classify myself as a runner. I'm more of a runner out of necessity than anything. I grew up playing sports, mostly basketball and tennis. I was a varsity tennis player in college. Not that I was that good, but I was blessed with that opportunity. I'd prefer to play tennis, but it's hard to schedule. So I try to get out and run, and I do enjoy that. But it's not my first preference. And I jokingly say that I used to time myself by a stopwatch. Now I time myself with a calendar.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty slow.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's okay, you know, slow, you're at least out there.
Yeah, that's right.
Huge. That's huge. You know, I've heard you speak to Rotary and to the Chamber, to different area community events. What are the things that you really feel is most impactful in your vision and what you want to see for the university, and how you feel like we can move the university and the community together forward?
Well, you know, I think fundamentally we do two things as a university when we do our jobs well. First of all, we create and transfer knowledge, and we need to do both of those. I mean, we have to be in the knowledge creation business to be able to transfer it appropriately, to create the kind of knowledge that drives the you know, whatever the societal issues are, whether it's health care or the economy or educational attainment levels, whatever. So first of all, we create and transfer knowledge. And secondly, equally important is we identify and develop human talent. You know, sometimes we overlook that. You know, everything that we do on a college campus really is driven toward the student and because of the student. That's why we're here. There's no real compelling reason to have a university except for students. And so, you know, what is it that we do that helps create added value in the lives of those students? And that is to be able to identify latent talent in those individuals and help to, through, you know, providing adequate role models and opportunities and challenges to help develop that to a level that it is of great value to them personally, to their families, to society at large. Ultimately, that's what we do the best. So I think the question comes back, you know, what do we need to do to make sure we do those two things really, really well? And I think as long as we're creating value, then you have the opportunity to put together the partnerships with the local communities and the regional, you know, governmental bodies or whoever else can be of support to continue to do that and even do it at higher levels. You know, people want to support something that's of value. You know, entitlement doesn't drive much investment, but opportunity does. And so when we create those opportunities, that's when we have success. So, you know, I think the first step for us here at Tennessee Tech from where we are right now is obviously with new leadership in place to make sure that we're creating the kind of vision for this institution that resonates with all the stakeholders. It says, yes, that's what we want to be a part of. That's a value. We appreciate that, and we want to support that. And so we're in the process of doing that. We're going through what we're calling a gap analysis right now to look at how Tennessee Tech is strategically positioned within higher education, and to make sure that we're maximizing our opportunities to be of real value to the community.
You know, you are in an interesting situation in that there are 4 presidents within viewing area of the university, former presidents of Tennessee Tech. Is that sort of daunting to have to step into a leadership role and have folks who have been here at the helm before you?
Well, yeah, it's and they're all great individuals. I mean, you know, I've been reminded numerous times that I have big shoes to fill, and it's very true. All of these individuals have left their mark on this institution and done great things. But at the same time, I'm a big believer I believe if all of us do our jobs well, then we ultimately work ourselves out of a job. And, I believe that I think I have something to offer to this institution at this point in time. And I believe if I'm successful, there will come a time when it's time for somebody else to come in and take it even further. So in a sense, we're all stewards. We all have a time and opportunity to make a difference and to make our mark. I'm blessed with this opportunity. I'm thankful for that. But I have no doubt that others that have come before me and that will come after me will do equally or even greater things than I'll be able to do. So.
I actually think they're all very impressed with you and with the selection. In fact, former President Angelo Volpe told me that you guys share a very similar background. He's a chemist.
We do. Our career paths are fairly similar. It's both chemists, different areas of chemistry, but both chemists. Both came up in a fairly traditional academic route, we share those experiences quite a bit. But regardless of the backgrounds of my predecessors here, they've all brought something very unique and something very special to this opportunity, and that's great. It's we need all of that.
Sure.
Yeah.
What do you think? You obviously have a great staff, faculty, student body who are dedicated and anxious to follow, I think. And so what's your greatest challenge with moving the university in a direction that you see? And I know in the investor you talked about vision, the vision of an eagle.
Yeah.
Share that thought.
Well, it is true. We need to have a clear vision. We need to be very focused in our approach to what we're going to accomplish and how we're going to go about doing it, because higher education is a very competitive marketplace today, and it's impossible to be all things to all people. So we've got to be very strategic in that regard. And like I said, we're working on that. We got to be very fearless about our approach. This is not a time to be hesitant. If you can't take some calculated risks, then you're probably not going to be competitive in this environment. However, having said all that, probably my biggest challenge, quite honestly, it always comes back to communication. Communication on a college campus, particularly, really any multifaceted organization like this, is a significant challenge because there are multiple constituencies with very different perspectives, and the way they view what they're looking for from the university is totally different. Policymakers are looking for economic development. Potential employers are looking for graduates with certain job skills. Students are looking for a ticket to a good job. Parents are looking for good value on their educational dollar. Faculty are looking for something different than that. And so the challenge is to sort of bring all those constituencies together under a common vision and to be able to communicate that effectively. So that's what I see as my biggest challenge.
And do you see yourself as being approachable, as being open?
Oh, absolutely. My philosophy is put everything on the table and let everybody see the same thing. I think we may disagree on some ways to go about doing things, but my experience tells me that more often than not, we come to the same conclusions most of the time. And when we don't, we can have very productive conversations if we're looking at the same information at the same time. So, I try to be very open, very upfront, and very available. I like hearing from individuals. I like knowing what they see and what they hear because that gives me the perspectives I need. It's real easy in a presidential position to get isolated from these groups because you're torn, you're drug in a lot of different directions, and so you have to make a very purposeful effort to be open and available, and that's what I hope to be able to do.
Oh, I think you'll do great. And just a minute, we probably just about have a minute left, but I know you mentioned family and focus, and I know faith is a big part of your background and your being.
Right.
Do you want to just share how that plays into your life?
Oh, it's huge. I certainly wouldn't be who I am without my faith, without my belief system that goes back. Obviously started with my parents, but throughout my educational life and through today, we're very active in church as a family, and have been all my life. It's essential. I value that. I value that in others. I know it makes me a better person, and so it's part of who I am.
It's great. Hey, thanks for taking this time. It was great, and we just wish you the best. I know you're going to be just really welcomed and warmly welcomed.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.